Here's going to be a quick demo on how to make a bridge, a basic bridge, using a one-point perspective. And it will show you a little bit of some shading techniques too. So this is the finished example of the basic bridge version. So we're going to start out with just a plain piece of paper. You're also going to need a ruler and a pencil. We're going to establish a horizon line. So someplace about halfway, a little bit below, a little bit above, but not right in the middle. So I'm going to do a little bit above halfway up on my paper. I'm just going to hold my fingers on the ruler and make a straight line. I don't want to press too hard because I'm going to need to erase parts of this later. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to establish a vanishing point, and this is where all of the lines appear to vanish to. And then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to angle up, not quite all the way to the top corner, and I'm going to draw another straight line. Then I'm going to keep the ruler so that's touching on my vanishing point, and I'm just going to make another angled line that's a little bit lower than the first one, and it goes right to this vanishing point over here. That's important. This is going to be the railing of the bridge, and then we're going to go ahead and make a line that goes below the horizon line. Okay, so this would be on the horizon line, and so we're going to tip it so it's touching the vanishing point over here, and then it's going to go below the horizon line over here. Okay, this is going to be the start of the basic bridge. The next thing, we're going to make some vertical lines. So I'm going to establish the first one, not quite to the edge of my paper, and making a straight line. Then I'm just going to move the over a little bit, maybe about 1 finger width, or if you really wanted to measure it, you could say it would be 1/4 of an inch. But I'm just going to eyeball it because I'm going to go fast. Then I'm going to move over a little space, maybe about 3 or 4 fingers, or again you could measure it, and I'm going to do the same thing. And I try to match this so that they're about the same size. And I have room for one more. So I would say if you're using a 9x12 piece of paper or 8x11, you probably have room to do 3 of these. If you're using a bigger paper, you have room probably to do more. Just depends on how big you want your bridge to be. So right now, that's what your project should look like. The next part we're going to do, we're going to add arches to our bridge. So what that is going to be, you're going to start kind of and go straight along one of these straight lines, and then about halfway you're going to break away, and you're going to aim to just touch in the middle of the top part. And then you're going to come on over on the other side and touch into the side and come back down again. You don't want to go to this point and go straight up like this. That's not right. And you also don't want to go all the way up to the corner and then come across the top and down. That's not right either. It's going to make your bridge look just kind of off, just kind of awkward. So we're going to do another one, coming up this straight edge, breaking off, and just touching the top, and then coming down. If you need a little bit of help, you could also flip your paper upside down. And look at these, look like letter U's. And that might make it a little bit simpler. So if I did this upside down, come along here, kind of break off, like you're making a big letter U, touch right in the middle, and then start coming down. Now the rest of this arch goes off the page, so we don't have to finish that. I'm going to flip it around so that it's right side up again. This next part, we're going to make the depth of the bridge. So I'm going to start kind of at the top where you touched, and you're going to just have a little skinny piece, and you're going to make it bigger and wider. Come in front all the way down to this line right down here. This is the depth of the bridge, and you can see, you'll see that as we go on and start shading. So I'm going to do that here also. Again, if this is hard, you could flip it over, and you could think you're starting at this line, and it's almost like it's a backwards J, and it just gradually becomes skinnier and skinnier until it touches that point. Flipping it back around so it's right side up. Now we're going to start shading this little section that we just made. And by that I mean we're going to use our pencil and push pretty hard to make this part darker. So we're going to do that all the way up to the top. And you want to go slow because you want to make sure that you're going to be neat. Sometimes it helps to turn your paper. And also come right down to the bottom. Okay? So you're going to do that for this one, and this one. So I did this on the back of this paper already. So when you're finished, it's going to look like this. Now we're ready to erase some of these lines that we don't need anymore. And I'll show you how to shade the rest of this. And then we can add some details on the edge that kind of make it look like this one. We have a rock over here, we have part of a tree over here, and then I'll talk about the water and the sky. So we'll take our eraser, and any of these vertical lines that are left, we're going to go ahead and just erase. They were just guides for us to get those arches in there. So those vertical lines we can erase. And also, any line that was on the pillar, like on this back side here, the horizon line was on the pillar. So we would need to erase those. And you're also going to erase it that's in between this part of the bridge. Because this bridge is in front of the horizon line, so we can't see what's behind it. Now you have this part of the horizon line showing. That's where your water meets your sky, so whatever's back here. And then you have the water in front here. We're going to erase this bottom line that's underneath the arches because the water flows underneath the bridge. You could make this line that's in front here, you could make that a little bit wavy or bumpy now because that's showing the water. You could also make this a little wavy or bumpy over here. So real quick, to make a rock or a hill or something, you're just going to come above the vanishing point, and you could just kind of come all the way down on your paper. You could have it come into the middle of the paper more if you wanted to. And this is drawn very big because this is in the foreground, it's very close to us. And then you could color this or you could paint this later on, but this is just the drawing part. And then on this side, if you wanted to, you could make another rock or something over here, or you could draw a tree, basically like a big letter Y, that went on your paper like this. I don't want to do the tree right here because my bridge is so close. I don't want to cover up all that part of my bridge, so I'm just going to erase this. That's the good thing about drawing lightly, is that we can erase. And I'm just going to make another little rock on this side. So all this is water in here, water here, and then there's sky back here. One last thing I want to show you. If you wanted to make a boat going behind or through the bridge, you would do that by drawing part of it in the front and then hiding part of it and then have another part on this other side. So maybe I wanted to do just a simple sailboat. Okay? So here's the sail and there's the mast, and then I would have part of the boat is going to be in front of that pillar, and then there's, water in here, and then part of the boat is behind the other pillar, so that makes it look like it's going through this other side. So that's the basic idea. When you shade the rest of your bridge, you're going to shade the side with the side of your pencil, kind of a medium light, and I just rest my pencil on the side and it goes a lot faster. I'm kind of doing a really rushed job. And I would shade this all the way down to the bottom. Same on this side. And then this top part, I would maybe choose to do a little bit darker for the railing. All the way down to where that rock would be. And there you have your start of your basic bridge.